All right. Shalom, y'all. Shalom is Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat. And today's show is about prudence. And the title is Prudence is a Foundation of Life. And of course, that's a Bible verse. It's out of Proverbs. We're going to be going over that. And we're going to be getting very granular about prudence, okay, and exactly what that means, and then we're even going to go further than that. But This has been a video. I think I was supposed to do this like Monday, maybe, but we've been very busy, and that's a good thing. Um, so no better day to do it than on Shabbat. But we're gonna go through this, and we'll see. What I wrote here is the Most High is not going to move if things aren't aligned in spirit and in truth. You know what I'm saying? Um, we want to make sure we are on board, truthfully and spiritually. It's important, not just kind of mindlessly going through things. And you'll see what I'm talking about as we get through this lesson. So, prudence, definition, showing good judgment in avoiding risk, uncertainties, being careful. Here's some more definitions. Capable of exercising sound judgment in practical matters, especially as concerns one's own interests. Cautious, discreet in conduct, circumspect, not rash, managing carefully and with economy. All right. And with Proverbs 16, verse 22, says is prudence is a foundation of life to the prudent, but folly brings punishment to fools. Okay. And, you hear that word folly and you think, you, you think, hey, somebody acting silly in a funny way or something like that. But that folly is not really that. We're going to get into kind of what folly is and what foolishness is. Okay. And also the Bible has multiple uses foolishness in different, I think it's like three different contexts. One is the unbeliever, somebody who doesn't believe in the word. Another one is somebody who goes around telling stuff. And then another one, and then the last one is one who is not, doesn't. We're going to kind of define it in here that is not operating in wisdom. So, First Peter chapter 5, verse 8, it says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." And I was talking to some, I probably said it in my last video also, but like Satan don't play by your rules. He plays by another set of rules, and we think he plays like by our rules. But the thing is, he's a deceiver. He's subtle. These are things that are said about him in the Word. So, you have to, like this verse says, you have to be sober. You have to be vigilant. Let's define that word sober. People are like, oh yeah, I don't drink, or say something like that. But look at what it says when it says sober means being alert to spiritual and physical dangers and not being easily distracted. Um, Focus, prudence, and being sober and being vigilant is a type of focus. Being focused, okay? Being locked in, being like knowing what you need to be doing. Is being focused, is being sober. Because what Satan does, this is how he operates. He distracts you from what he no longer tries to keep that's no longer his hustle. He can use those temptations on the people out in this world, but when you know this truth, now his whole strategy changes. His whole strategy is to get you distracted, to get you, and not even to get you distracted, to get you to focus on something other than what you're supposed to be focused on. And is, me here as a head of assembly, it's my job to keep the main thing for everybody, you know, because a lot of people, I like, we deal, I watch this in myself and I watch this in others. There's just a lot of subtle long-term distraction. I see people get distracted short term, but the more insidious one is the long-term distraction where you set out to go this way and you've been just ever so subtly led astray, led off the path. And and then the next thing you know, you're like, what happened? How did I get here? How did I get so far off track? Okay. Y'all let me know if the audio's good on here if y'all can. But you want to get in a habit, you want to be sober. You want to be vigilant. Okay? You got to learn to recognize when you're distracted, when you're off the path. Um I saw an awesome saying that somebody put out, and they said, um, uh, a focused fool is better than a distracted genius. Okay, so you could do more if you know you're a fool, but you're staying focused. You're gonna get more done if you stay focused rather than if you are a genius. You're smart, but you're distracted. Okay. Um, let's see. It says, let's see. So we're gonna get in. We're gonna read Proverbs chapter 6, and we're gonna start at verse 6. And it says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways, and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and they want as an armed man. Travaileth, and they want as an armed man. So, what it's talking about is saying, "How long will thou sleep, thou sluggard?" You know what I'm saying? This verse is kind of breaking down the importance and why we need to be prudent. We need to be thinking ahead. We need to be considering. Um, Another awesome saying that I saw was a saying. It said, "You can have it easy now and hard later, or you can have it hard now and easy later." So, and what they're saying in that saying is, what you need, if you work hard now, you're not going to be suffering later on. That saying lines right up with that verse there in Proverbs, okay, where you need to consider the ant that prepares, in the summertime, so it's not needing stuff in the winter. You got to think ahead in all things that you do. You got to consider. And you know, even being a head of assembly here, you tell people, you try to help people be prudent and stuff, but I mean, because people who've been around, people who are older, they've seen things play out in life time and time again, and they know with the degree of certainty, with the same level of certainty that the sun is going to rise tomorrow. They know that, um, hold on one sec. Yeah, they know with the same certainty that the sun's going to rise tomorrow. They know how things are going to play out. And what do? You try to warn people, you know. Inevitably, it's going to go down, whether it could go down a good way or it could go down a bad way if they heed to that, if they're prudent and consider, you know. If they operate in foolishness, they're going to just, they're going to learn the lesson the hard way. And, we had a brother here, one of the, our older brothers, he said a interesting saying. He said, what, and we've seen this play out. If you're lucky, you get a warning, on in things in life, where you're just going against what the word says and everything like that. If you're lucky, you get a warning. But you have to be prudent because, like I said, we watch people get corrected and warned, and then comes the lesson. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing nice. All right. So Matthew chapter 25, verse 14, it says, "For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several uh, ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of these servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained besides them 5 talents. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents besides them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servants. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gathered where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchanges, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which have 10 talents. For unto every one that have shall he given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that have not shall be taken away even that which he had. And cast ye the unprofitable servant unto outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So, and I know a lot of y'all have read that before. Some interesting things to point out is that unfaithful servant who didn't do anything was operating in a spirit of fear. He said, I feared. One of the things he said, let me see, has been faithful over few. Let me go back to that verse. He said, first of all, he didn't know and understand his Lord. So he didn't have a good understanding. He said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art a hard man. You know, the other thing, he was afraid. He said, and I was afraid, and went and so he hid the talent, the money. And how this plays out, you know, in a spiritual sense, in a practical sense in life, you know, you a lot of people are afraid to come out of their comfort zone and do what they need to do to serve the Most High. And that's spiritually, and that's also practically, in a practical sense, in their life, you know. And like I said, I look at how people work. Like if I'm able to work around people, if I'm able to work on cars with people, I could tell a lot about them. And a lot of people, for due to fear, due to other reasons, they due to a lack of prudence, a lack of wisdom, they don't serve Yah the way they need to do. They just operate in their comfort zone, or through their comfort zone, or through what feels good to them. And in order to multiply the talents, you have to step out there. In order to be a light to people in darkness and to multiply the talents what the Most High is giving you, you have to step out your comfort zone. And this is one of the things I talk about, being a part of a community, a home assembly, um, an iron sharpening iron environment. A lot of people say they want to grow until it's time to grow. But like that Bible verse says, the furnace proves the potter's vessel. And there's a lot of stuff that comes up that you have to face in yourself, that the Most High will show you when you're a part of a community, and you're living around your brothers, or you're a part of an assembly. And, you see a lot of people, they're that a lot of people come to the realization, hey, excuse me, I'm that servant who took the talent and buried it and did what I wanted to do. Okay? The Most High bless you. He did what he did in your life. He brought you into the truth, all that. Now he expects you to invest and multiply, what he's giving you. And I can't tell you the number of people, they come in, they get that piece of gold, they bury it, and they keep it safe. You know what I'm saying? And they're operating in disobedience. And you have to, you in this thing, you have to think ahead. You have to be prudent. You have to be vigilant. You have to not get lulled into what would I call that? Mental ascension. You can't let yourself get derailed and distracted in the mental ascension, endlessly listening to messages, feeling like you've arrived and you're doing it, but you're really not. You done really buried your talent in the sand. Your whatever the Most High has assigned you to do, your assignment. Are you on assignment? Okay. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Man, that thing there is loaded. Okay? It's telling you to walk circumspectly. And circumspect means careful to consider all the circumstances and possible consequences, watchful and discreet, cautious, prudent. It's telling you to walk circumspectly. Why? Redeeming the time. So it's not wasting time, but getting focused. Why? Because the days are evil. And again, people like this, one of the heaviest deceptions operating out there is people's concept of evil. People regard evil and oppression as somebody rebuking you, holding you to a standard. This is the new modern day evil, is somebody correcting you and holding you to a standard that you agreed to keep. And then when you hold people to that standard, you're evil, you're oppressive. But y'all, that is not what evil is. That's not biblical evil. When you look up what biblical evil is, it feels good. It lets you just put your mind on autopilot, put the screensaver on, just kind of float through life. Biblical evil, again, Satan is a deceiver. Traps, what do they put in? Do they put something nasty and that stinks on a trap? Or do they put something that animal wants? And I mean the top thing it wants. Like, I was watching some videos last night about polar bears, and their favorite food is seal blubber, seal fat or whatever. Like, you know. So if you wanted to trap a polar bear, you put some seal meat on there or whatever. How do they trap a mouse? They put cheese on there, something it wants. How does Satan work? How does Satan trap you? I was talking to my daughters and I was telling them the similarities, like the talents that the Most High has given them or blessed them with. And I'm just talking about some of the things that they've been blessed to do. One of the things is like one of my daughters crochets, and she's like, when she's crocheting, it's like time doesn't exist. She just in the zone, and she just doing it, and it's just like effortless. And that's a talent that came from the Most High that He blessed her with to do. But you know what else? You know what else brings on that same state? Sitting there vegging out in front of the TV. It brings that. It puts you in the same state that operating in your gift and in your talent puts you in. But it's unproductive. It's a trap. It's subtle. It feels good. You see what I'm saying? And I don't, like, that might not be the best example of how Satan operates, but this is how he operates. It's very subtle. It feels good. It gratifies the flesh. But with a little bit of prudence and foresight and looking ahead, you can see, hey, it's easy now, but it's going to be hard later. And this is how we have to start thinking. This is how we have to have that prudent mind. So we're not the slothful servant in what we do, how we operate in life, how we operate in our careers, how we operate in our spiritual life, how we serve the community. Do we consider the community our brothers and sisters? You see what I'm saying? Do we serve them? Or because we've been deceived by Satan, do we have the community serving us? We've had plenty of people come in to community and they come in with a mindset, what can the community do for me? And that is not a community mindset. It's what can I do for the community? And again, that people come in with that mindset and they get in here and that sharpening start, they either break or they bend, but they definitely don't stay the same. It either shapes them, they either shape up and get in the shape that conforms to fit into a community. So they either shape up or they ship out. And it's nobody pushes them out or anything like that. It's just you get a phone call, hey, I'm no longer a part of this. Or that's on a good day. Most of the time they just kind of fade into obscurity and people are like, hey, did you hear from brother so and so? They'll ask me, and I'm like, nope, nope. It don't take all that. I've seen it too many times, and it's like you have to be serious. You got to be serious minded about your growth and your development with the Most High, with this book, being in alignment with this book. You got to be thinking. And again, going back to the beginning of this message, Proverbs chapter 16, verse 22, listen to it. It says, prudence is it didn't say the, but it said a foundation of life to the prudent. So it is an important component of life, to those who are prudent. But it says, but folly brings punishment to fools. Okay? So So that's the definition of circumspect. And that's how critical it is that we get prudent. It says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools. So a fool, if you want to kind of begin to define a fool is somebody who is not careful, who does not consider all circumstances. And a fool is somebody who doesn't consider possible consequences. They're not watchful, they're not discreet, and they're not cautious and prudent. And that's what a fool is. According to just abstract, reading through this Bible verse, it says, see then that ye walk circumspectly and not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. And you got to redeem the time because the days are evil. How are the days evil, Michael Israel? A good place to look, man, look at social media. Social media, the level of distraction on social media, the power of social media to grab your attention and pull it some other way is off the charts. If something you should look up is videos on the attention economy. And they said back in, I want to say 2008 or 9 or something like that, maybe 2010. I'm not sure. Back around that time, might have been a little further ahead, maybe in 13. I don't know. But they said attention, the price for attention surpassed the price of oil. They did some type of calculation showing that the cost of attention surpassed the price of oil. Prior to that, oil was the most valuable commodity thing out there. And the price for your attention surpassed it. What is that saying? That is pulling you out of prudence, is pulling you out of wisdom. The price to get you sidetracked. You know what I'm saying? And that's a heavy thing to consider. And just see if what I'm saying is true, man. Look at how powerful social media is, how it can just grab you and get you off track. Or like a notification or something could just completely have it where you can't even hold thoughts in your head. And it's getting ready to get way worse with AI. Now, I'm not going to go all the way down that tech path. I do have a show that'll be coming out eventually, really bringing y'all up to date on what's getting ready to go down. And for those people who lack prudence, they're going to be extremely distracted and off track. What I'm beginning to do, I know Pastor Dow's been talking about it, the importance of reading your Bible and not looking at it on Bible apps and stuff like that. Actually reading a physical book. You have to see. Again, I watch tech real close, cutting edge stuff. Try to stay on exactly what's coming out. And if you look at it from a 10,000 foot view, you can see what's going on. It's happening slowly, but what they're doing more and more, you're relying on AI and digital devices, and less you're relying on your own mind, even to think of stuff. And that's if you're not prudent, if you're not thinking, that's how this technology will take you. But if you're thinking, you could use this technology to multiply your learning and what you know, and learn about the things you're going to need to learn about. You're going to need to learn how to grow your own food. You're going to need to learn how to Just provide for yourself on some land, because this is the thing. With this AI and eventually quantum computing, when this stuff really hits, the next generation, they're not going to know. Only thing they're going to be like, okay, to feed myself, I go to this, I tell my AI, because this is where it's going to happen this year with AI agents. If you want to eat, you're just going to tell your phone, hey, bring me a hamburger and some fries from Burger King or something. Have it delivered here. Dude, that's how you're going to eat. You're gonna be, that's how I eat. So then what? A blackout happens. All the electrical power goes out. And you're going to be like, well, how do I get food? Where you gonna think food comes from the delivery man, and you ain't gonna know what the hell to do. Y'all, that is where everything's going. That is where everything's going. And we need to be obedient to the word and consider the ancient ways and go in that direction. That's a whole nother show. But this is why you need to be prudent. You need to be thinking ahead. You need to exercise thought, because the way the AI is, even a stupid person is going to appear smart, or is going to be able to, if they know how to use the AI. But you got to use this brain. I mean, that's where this thing is going, to the point where you don't have to use your brain. And then I'm telling you, when the electricity goes out, or like Warren Buffett said, when the tide goes out, you see who's been swimming naked. When they drain the water out of the swimming pool, you see who got a bathing suit on and who don't. It's obvious. So, again, being prudent, considering the ant, thinking ahead, looking at how things coming. Like it said, because the days are evil. Appreciate all y'all tuning in, y'all. I'm Michael Israel. You watching Spiritual Combat. Shalom, shalom.